Thank you so much for that introduction. I brought my backpack because we are going on a journey. 50 years of creative research in the sea of creativity. And first I want to try to explain the brain and how I see the brain for this creative journey. I've sort of done a new kind of model, and I would like to show it to you, so maybe you will think about the brain in a different way from after this. This is sort of the typical picture of a brain. You have the two sides, left and right, or whatever you call it, creative and structural. And I would like to look at it in a totally different way. I would like to split it up in two parts, and I would like to call it the known and the unknown. And this can actually give us sort of a visual presentation of the journey we're on. Because this is a journey that's inside the brain. You don't need to cross any borders. This is an unlimited journey. So if you look at it as one of the side of the brain is a boat, it's the safe place. You can keep all your stuff, and then you have the sea. And you take the boat and you place it in the sea, and then you actually have a working model for this creative travel. Most people have sort of a limited kind of sea, and it's controllable. It can give you a bit of waves and so on, but it's pretty sort of controllable, and you can see the edge of the sea. And the thing that happens when you grow up, you tend to sort of go into this situation where the amount of water that you can move in is sort of shrinking, and you think, okay, my boat is safe. It's I know my stuff. Everything is in place. But the things that happen to me is that my sea just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And from the very beginning, when I was standing on the boat in my young years, I was looking into the sea, and I just wanted to jump in because there was so much opportunity in here. And the great thing is that I brought this. The only tool you need is a pencil. And this pencil is totally magic because at one end it has a focused delivery point of product. In the other end it has infinite possibilities. So having this in my hand, I jumped into the sea. And this is me at 4 years old in the first picture. And this other drawing I did a couple of years ago to try to explain the freedom you have in this sea. And you don't need to use a pencil, you can use all kinds of material. So this travel agency is 24/7, it's low cost, and it's immediate. You can go anywhere. So this is the amazing power of the brain. And I can clearly say my starting point for my journey came when I was sitting watching the black and white TV, and Jacques Cousteau came on with his adventures to the edge of the world and beyond. And this totally sparked a dream that you could live in the sea. You didn't have to stay on the boat. So watching these things, it totally connected me with water. And I basically think that water is the creative substance. It's a magical place. And when you're in water, you are happy, sort of on a general scale. It induces happiness. So I could hear yelling from the boat. You know, my parents were standing up there. Come up! You can't stay in that sea. You have to get an education. You have to learn about life. You know, the real way. You had to dry out that water. And but I was staying there, and I had actually spotted a possibility because there was this amazing vehicle circling around in the creative sea, and it was called advertising, because this was a safe place you can crawl inside. This amazing yellow submarine, and you could actually stay in creativity world and actually make a living at the same time. So I crawled inside, and this was an amazing place. I walked around Copenhagen with my drawings, looking at all the different agencies, and they say, get an education, get an education. And the last place I went, they actually liked what I did, and they invited me in. And this happened to be the most fantastic agency in the world, because they had the most amazing client. Yeah, I'm talking about a toy company called Lego. And a little time later, I actually had another experience because I started to get this blind spot on my retina. And imagine this, living the dream and living the nightmare at the same time. I went into to the hospital and was put inside a MRI scanner, and I had a look into my brain. So this was really it was an amazing experience because it showed me there was something that shouldn't be there, but at the same time it gave me a totally creative look on the world, because you need to take your weakness and use it as creative fuel. This was the kind of picture you don't want to take home when you're 20 years old. But this was looking inside my brain, and there was something not supposed to be there. It was a tumor. It was pressing on the pituitary gland, and it was pressing on my optical cord. So at the same time I was opening up the creative world, I was getting shut down from inside. This was really, really not a good development. But I found out that the body is basically made out of chemistry. So I've put a little extra sentence in this. To be or not to be, that's a matter of chemistry. Because I got these pills, I got these capsules that I was eating every day. And they were starting to, like an army of small medical soldiers going into my body and fighting this tumor. This was really amazing. It was not cancer. So I had really the feeling of being reborn when I went out of that hospital again. But the chemistry had an effect, it had a side effect. And I want to rephrase survival of the fittest, because my experience was survival of the weakest. I had to sort of almost crawl my way into the agency, because every morning I would feel like a zombie because of the medicine. And basically my next object I will take forward is, imagine being in an advertising agency where everything is about fantastic living and colors and so on. But when I came to the agency, I crawled into the bathroom and I took this, and you can apply creativity in a lot of ways, because you can use this as a pillow as well. So I was lying in the bathroom of the agency with my head on this. And that also redesigns another sentence. Being on a roll has another meaning. I was on this roll for 10 years, eating the medicine and making strange connections in my brain, which actually led to this next development. Because our fantastic client had this series of mechanical or biological heroes made out of parts, and it needed a story, it needed a universe. So why not take the capsules that I have been eating for 10 years and make them into this product? It's gone after the market, so this is not advertising, but this is Bionicle, and it's a biological chronicle. So taking the disease, taking the story of the body that had to be rebuilt, and putting it into sort of a legendary setting, that is what Bionicle is about. And this story had a 10-year run with a lot of fans around the world, and it's still actually out there. A lot of fans have continued to build. And those people are going into education now. They are taking classes in 3D modeling and so on, and I'm still in contact with them, so this is fantastic. This is actually the secret behind the whole Bionicle legend, that you have this gigantic robot lying underneath the sea. The island that the heroes arrive at is the face of the robot, and the whole fight is about getting rid of a virus that's in this robot. So taking the illness into storytelling is a fantastic way of coping with problems and weaknesses and biological adversary. But what happens when you're in this submarine of advertising? You start to develop another blind spot, and that's actually entitled blind spot. And I think it's a problem of a lot of the Western culture. That we think that everything is okay. We are on the boat. We have everything safe. We have a pleasant everyday life. I know there's a lot of trouble right now with the COVID, but I will get back to that. Because this was what happened to me. I had to get back into the water. I had to get sort of this numbness out of my fingers. And I had to sort of go back to depending on this one. So when I went out back into the water and looked back at the boat, I suddenly saw this. This is sort of a representation of the whole human civilization. Being on a cruise, which a couple of years ago was sort of a perfect vacation form, but now it's more like a horror movie, being secluded on this boat. But this is actually civilization in a nutshell. And you can find everybody on the globe in this drawing. Some will be under the waterline, some will be on top inside the gyrosphere, and some will be in the front looking for the future, trying to get the other ones to react. So based on this thing, I will say that creativity has a totally new role. It used to be advertising, selling stuff. It used to be entertainment. But now we are on a quest for humanity. And the creative people, everybody needs to be on this. Because we need to use the water as a mirror to look at ourselves. And we also, this text has jumped a bit. We need to move from hero to vero. And what I mean with that is, we have been searching for heroes to fix our problems for years and years of our civilization. But I think we're getting to the point in 2021 where we realize that it's actually us, it's the we that needs to take care of stuff. And I can see traces of this all around. You can see young teenagers fighting for climate change, getting that on the agenda. You can see old scientists doing TV programs about nature that is disappearing. You can see all the scientists doing the vaccines and so on. These are sort of heroes that are attracting attention to the we, that we need to accept that we are together in this. So I really want all the creatives on the globe to unite. We have this one boat we are sailing in, and we need to use creativity to make change. So the story I really want to tell is that going on a rescue mission in the near future, you can imagine having your near relative in the future lying in this orange safety raft, and you are maybe controlling the drone on top, trying to save this, distant relative. And you have a windmill, which is like new energy. In some years, it will be the old way of doing things. Maybe it will be the safe haven for this future relative. I'm actually inviting everybody into this new creative storytelling project inspired by the global goals. And it's actually about everybody's near future and our unborn children and the world they're going to live in. We should tell stories about that. We should focus on that, and creativity should become a serious science. So the last thing I want to take out of my bag here, that is, we've been giving this fantastic gift of the global goals. And I really want to say to people, don't make this into a blind spot. Don't just put it on your jacket as a little symbol, and then you're safe. This is a fantastic story engine. It's a story starter, and you should play with it. You should put it into action. So for the next slide, be ready for the future, tell the stories, and keep this in your hand. Then you will be safe in the water of creativity. Thank you.